I'm now joined by Ron Prady, the head coach of Gridiron Latrobe, as his team enters the Class 4A playoffs. First off, Ron, congrats on getting back to the postseason. I know you clinched it a few weeks ago, but has to feel good to get back to the playoffs. What have you liked most about how your team has entered the postseason this year on the heels of that victory last week?
Well, thanks first. I appreciate that. Been a lot of work by the kids and the staff, so we're proud of that. But I think just kind of the way we've performed in all three phases, been pretty good in special teams most of the year. Our offense is really kind of coming along here late in the year, and defensively too, playing well. So I think when you get those three things going at one time, hopefully we'll be a tough out.
Well, you had a kind of unusual circumstance on Friday. You were one of the very few teams that did not play a conference game. You were at Butler. You won convincingly 42-7. I know you said going in, you wanted to play like just any other game because you wanted to, one, get a victory, get momentum, and two, get a milestone with the 7th win in the regular season. So after it played out, looking back on it, did you accomplish what you set out to do? And did you feel like your team treated it like any other game?
I think we did. And, we were obviously able to come out with a win. That's number one. And our kids played probably 3.5 quarters. Our ones did. And then we were able to play some other kids. So that's always beneficial to us and beneficial to anybody to be able to play the young kids a good bit. So, we were happy with how things worked out. And I've said it before, I think these kids deserve to play 10 games if they're healthy. And you get limited numbers. So I know the birdie, I don't know who that is, but said we would be smart to rest people. But thankfully, the birdie doesn't make those decisions, we do.
And so you win pretty decidedly against a team that, albeit has struggled, is a 6A school by enrollment size. So you're playing up in that one. What stood out about the performance, and what players in particular impressed you with their play on Friday?
Well, I thought our offensive line was pretty good all night, especially in the run game. Johnny Wetzel ran the ball well, effectively. Brady Prohovic's really been, kind of an unsung guy for us that doesn't get a lot of credit, but he runs the ball extremely hard. He's tough. He's low to the ground. He's hard to bring down. So he's been good. Our defensive line and with Timmy Meyers and those guys up front have been pretty solid all year. And we feel pretty good about where we are defensively as a whole.
Well, probably the biggest piece of your defensive success is Alex Tash. And I know Friday, of course, you're focused on the game at hand, but there was a little bit of excitement around Greater Latrobe as well. For the first time in probably quite a while, there's a major Division I prospect in Tash. So you have James Franklin come in via helicopter. How has he handled all of the publicity that he's gotten throughout the last couple of months with all these major college offers?
Well, Alex is pretty humble generally, and we're thankful for that. It has not affected our guys, our team one bit. I think, the entire team is happy for Alex, the entire community, the school community, the coaching staff, everybody's happy for Alex, and he works hard. He deserves what he gets. But we're going to have other guys get stuff too. Johnny Wetzel's going to go play. Jaton's going to go play. We have several others that, at some point, but this is rare for guys to get this attention this early in their career, during their junior year. So, we keep telling the other guys, your time's going to come, and I feel pretty confident about that.
Talking to Ron Prady, head coach of Gridiron Latrobe. So you get the victory. You see how things play out elsewhere with McKeesport defeating Thomas Jefferson. You end up getting the number 9 seed, which means you head on the road to play number 8 West Allegheny. How did that align with what you thought might be the seed?
I think playing West Allegheny isn't the surprise. And we thought maybe, we would be 7 or 8 and get a home game, but obviously that didn't happen, and we're just going to go play who they tell us to play, where they tell us to play. And, it doesn't do any good to complain about it. Doesn't do any good right now to sulk and feel bad for ourselves. So we're just working hard at preparing for West Allegheny and playing as well as we can.
And obviously, the interesting aspect of it is West Allegheny finishes fourth place in the conference, but the committee obviously deemed that Parkway Conference was the most competitive and most talented, at least among the playoff teams. So when you go against them, what jumps out when you look at them on film?
Well, I think, those kids at West Allegheny, going back to Coach Palco there, they're used to having success over there, and they've won a lot of playoff games in the past. They've been in this position before, so they're gonna be ready, and we're gonna have to also. But they do a ton on offense. There are multiple on defense too. They mix up their fronts, so that's especially hard when you're preparing. Even on a short week, especially on a short week like this. So we're gonna have to play hard. We're gonna have to play fast and physical and understand the urgency of the playoffs, and hopefully last year's experience will help us with that.
I know that you're focused on your team, obviously, in this matchup, but just based on how the bracket played out, do you think there is anything to the Parkway Conference being a superior conference from what you've seen and heard?
I have no idea, Sean, to be honest. I'm not on the committee, obviously, but we're going to leave that to the committee. We're just going to go play West Allegheny on Friday and see. Hopefully, we play well.
What are the biggest keys to have success and to knock off the Indians?
Well, I think it's always turnovers and penalties and being smart with the ball. We've got to create a couple turnovers. We seem to thrive off of the turnovers created by our defense, and Jaton in the return game too is big. So the special teams are certainly going to be a factor. We just have to control the ball as much as we can, chew up first downs. I don't know that we're going to hit big ones on these guys. They're pretty good. But hopefully we can put some drives together and get some stops on defense.
I know last year you got the playoff victory via upset against Highlands, and that was such a big story because it had been such a long time since that happened. How important would it be to get playoff victories in consecutive years?
I don't know. I think for our kids it would be special. I think for us as a staff it would be special. But that's kind of if we are fortunate to get one, we'll kind of reflect on that after we do. But I think it might validate our program and what we've been doing. We've come a long way in 2 years, and we'd like to continue to get a couple more games this year.
Well, Ron, thanks so much for taking the time. Once again, congrats on the great season to this point, and good luck on Friday night.
Thanks, Sean.